Hello, friends. I'm Kevin Barger, the Director of Music Ministry at Epiphany Lutheran Church in Richmond, Virginia. And this is our Music Minute. We're taking a look at the hymns we'll be using in worship tomorrow. And we're going to start with our sending hymn, Lord of Glory, You Have Bought Us. This was written in 1864, the oldest of the hymns that were written in order today. And quote, "It was the very strong feeling that a tithe of our income was a solemn debt to God and his poor which inspired it." That comes from the author. The author sent this to a contest and asked that if this hymn was chosen as the winner, that John Dykes write the tune. It was chosen as the winner, so John Dykes received this text and was told to write a hymn to it. What makes this unique is that John Dykes, the composer, was the brother of the author of the text. And so he was surprised to see this hymn by his sister that he didn't even know that she had written. So this is not the tune to which he originally set the text, and he did change the text a bit. But this choice fits it much better. It's a tune that you will know and recognize, and this is a fun little version of it. Again, this is Lord of Glory, You Have Bought Us. So a fun and energetic little piece there. All right, we will move to our hymn of the day, God Whose Human Bonds Are Broken. This was written much more recently in 1988, and it was in a section of this particular hymnal with this notation. It was a hymn for people seeking release from broken relationships and forgiveness for having failed others. The author was from the Netherlands, and some interesting facts about his growing up and his family. He endured the Nazi occupation of Holland, and his family hid a Jew and a political prisoner in their home, and he also had three grandparents who died of starvation during that time. So he knew about bonds being broken. This is God When Human Bonds Are Broken. A nice and short hymn with a very powerful and long message. All right, our communion hymn, which hopefully we'll get to this week. Last week we didn't get to it. We had so many things going on. I Come With Joy, and this was written in 1968. It was written by a pastor, and it was intended to sum up a sermon series that he had done on the meaning of communion. It's been revised many times. It was revised in 1977 and updated some language. It was again revised in 1995, just trying to make it that perfect fit. This tune has the character of a jubilant little dance, which you'll figure out, I'm sure. The tune name is Dove of Peace, and this is I Come With Joy. And to close us out for tomorrow, our gathering hymn, this is Lord, I Lift Your Name on High, one you're probably familiar with. It was written in 1989, so very similar to the hymn of the day that we talked about. This focuses on an individual's delight in God. And it was written while the composer was reading the Bible on the computer and sitting there with his guitar. And in the 1990s, this was listed as the #1 song in the praise and worship movement. So the author of this text works for a fiber optics company, so anybody can write a hymn text. This is Lord, I Lift Your Name on High. And that brings to a close our hymns for tomorrow in worship. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, and I hope you learned something maybe you didn't know before. We'll look forward to being together in worship in person tomorrow at 8:30 and 11 o'clock here in the sanctuary. And the 11 o'clock service is, as always, live streamed on our YouTube channel. Thanks again for joining me this evening. Have a great evening.